Good morning, St. Kitts and Nevis, and welcome to Voices right here on WINNFM 98.9. I'm your host for today, Devonne Cornelius. Welcome to the program. It is Monday, May 8, 2023. It is about 10 minutes past the 11 o'clock hour. We are going to get the program started for today. Joining us on the program is Yvette Ross, president of the St. Kitts and Nevis National Red Cross Society, and Trevor Seaton, disaster coordinator for the Red Cross, and they are here in celebration of World Red Cross Day, celebrated annually on May 8th. Thank you guys so much for being here today, and welcome to the studios of WINNFM 98.9. So as I said, we are here to talk about all things Red Cross. I note that there are a number of activities and events that you guys have planned in celebration of World Red Cross Day. Ms. Ross, I would want for you to open and give the listeners a brief introduction of yourself and why you're here today. And we'll go to Mr. Seaton as well.
A pleasant good morning to all. My name is Yvette Ross. I am the president of the St. Kitts Nevis Red Cross Society, National Society, and today we are just here to brief you on what the Red Cross is all about as we celebrate World Red Cross Day.
Awesome. Mr. Seaton?
Okay, good morning to all listeners. My name is Trevor Seaton. I'm the disaster coordinator for the St. Kitts and Nevis Red Cross Society, and as our president said, we are here to bring awareness to the general public about Red Cross and our celebration, World Red Cross Day.
Awesome. So I know that there is a message that is being used internationally. President Ross, can you share that message with us, please?
Yes, thank you. Henry, caring for the wounded in Freno. Hilda, helping hurricane victims in Port Vila. Mohammed, monitoring the nutritional condition of the inmates in Bodia prison. Lima, teaching first aid to people with disabilities in Maracay. And Luna, rescuing migrants on the shore of Ceuta. They, like many Red Cross and Red Crescent volunteers around the world, offered care, a hand of compassion and a life-changing breath of humanity to those who are most vulnerable. Today, on World Red Cross and Red Crescent Day, we celebrate the legacy of Henry Dunant, whose vision led to the creation of the World Red Cross and World Red Crescent movement, and the countless volunteers who came after him. Their unwavering commitment and exemplary dedication to helping anyone in need, anywhere, to upholding our fundamental principle at all times, whether responding to natural hazard, climate crisis, conflicts, health emergency, displacement, or migration, is admired around the world. We nonetheless face tremendous challenges in carrying out humanitarian acts in a world beset by uncertainty and so many complex and multidimensional crises. International attention is diverted from protracted and low visibility crises, and resources are lacking to ensure the continuity of aid to those most in need and sustain the local action of humanitarian organizations and workers who are closest to the affected communities. Natural hazards, climatic disasters, and health emergencies are multiplying and reaching unprecedented scale. The parties involved in armed conflicts and violence often ignore some of the most basic rules of humanitarian law and hamper neutral and impartial humanitarian organizations' access to vulnerable people, access that should be free and safe. While there are those who challenge humanitarian principles, principled humanitarian action is as vitally important as ever. Our Red Cross and Red Crescent family is at the forefront of humanitarian assistance and ensuring protection for those who need it most. The world has increasingly seen how effective our movement can be in addressing overlapping crises and providing principled humanitarian assistance. Our strength lies in our unity, our determination to carry forward the ideals of neutral, impartial, independent humanitarian action, and our commitment to the humanitarian cause. Today, we celebrate the millions of Red Cross and Red Crescent volunteers and staff around the world who, every day in their respective countries, regions, and communities, carried forward the determination of Henry Dunant to provide hope and dignity in the midst of despair to people in vulnerable situations without distinct or thought of personal gain. Happy World Red Cross and Red Crescent Day. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Ms. Ross. Mr. Seaton, you wanted to add something?
No, just really to say the Red Cross, as most persons would know, is a global humanitarian organization that operates in nearly every country around the world, and it provides assistance and support to those in need during emergencies, during disasters, conflicts, and other crises. So the movement works to alleviate human suffering and protect human dignity and promote peace, health, and well-being among people of all nations. And so today we celebrate the work of the movement and the volunteers that are engaged in this worldwide humanitarian effort.
All right, thank you so much for that, Mr. Seaton, and thank you, Ms. Ross. We'll take a break to give a shout out to our sponsors, and when we come back, we'll continue Voices right here on Win FM 98.9. Let's take this break, and we will be right back.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
for service, TDC for quality. TDC your company, TDC for service, TDC for quality.
TDC your company.
Together we succeed, building a strong community, pressing onward to our destiny. One love, one family. Together we succeed. Let the whole world see. Yes, this is 50.
What has you so happy?
My home internet just got upgraded, and I didn't even have to pay for it.
What? Which network you have?
Flow! Now I can get the fastest fiber internet in St. Kitts and Nevis for the lowest price.
Fastest internet for the lowest price? What's the catch?
No catch, my friend. 100 megabits per second for just $135 a month. With Flow, you truly get the best internet experience around.
Switch to Flow for the fastest fiber internet at the lowest price. Visit a Flow store today. Conditions apply.
welcome back to Voices right here on WinFM 98.9. For those of you who are just joining the discussion for today, we have in studio Yvette Ross, President of the St. Kitts Nevis National Red Cross Society, and Trevor Seaton, Disaster Coordinator for the Red Cross. Again, welcome to the program, and thank you guys so much for being here with us today. President Ross, can you tell us what is the focus for this year's celebration of World Red Cross Day?
World Red Cross Day 2023, based on the theme, everything we do comes from the heart. So therefore, our focus for this year is on the founder of the movement, his legacy, humanitarian efforts over the years, and individuals who make differences in their communities. And when we talk about the founder of the movement, we are talking about nobody else than none other than Henry Dunant. When Henry Dunant saw the battlefield of Solferino on 24th June 1859, the idea of the Red Cross was born. The idea was born when another Henry, a young man from Switzerland called, better known as we say, Henry Dunant, organized local people to support the wounded in the Battle of the Solferino in Italy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so just to support, so there was this battle between France and Italy. I think Italy at that time was fighting for its independence. And as a result of that battle, there were thousands of wounded soldiers on the battlefield, and there was no one there to provide some care. So Henry Dunant, who was a Swiss businessman in the area at the time, was able to mobilize ordinary citizens to come together, take the wounded, take them into the churches, and to nurse them back to health. So as a result of this, he wrote a book entitled A Memory of Solferino, and in which he advocated for the formation of a relief society to help the wounded in times of war. And that led to the first Geneva Convention, where states agreed that there should be a relief society to help the wounded. And later, this committee was renamed to be called the International Committee of the Red Cross, ICRC. And so they were set up to function during man-made disasters, man-made events, war and internal disturbances and strife and all of that. And so that led to that initial component of the Red Cross. Later it was recognized that the civilian population were more adversely affected by the impacts of war. And so that also led to the formation of another component of Red Cross called the International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies. This is a coordinating body of Red Cross that mobilize resources to help those affected by natural disasters, hurricane, famine, and those impacted, as I said, by who are displaced as a result of war, refugees. So the Red Cross movement, the ICRC, focuses on the man-made disasters events, and the IFRC, the International Federation of Red Cross, coordinates with the national societies within each country responses to man-made disasters, natural events, and health emergencies. So in each country, there is a National Red Cross or Red Crescent Society. Red Crescent in those Muslim or Islamic countries where they, for some reason, do not recognize or use the cross. They use what we call a red crescent. In Israel, we use what is called a red crystal. So the movement itself has three emblems: the red cross, the red crescent, and the red crystal that represents the movement. And so when these symbols are being used, whether in war or in natural disasters, emergencies, they are respected by persons who we encounter.
Awesome. No, you mentioned that you are the disaster coordinator. Can you go more into that role and what exactly you are responsible for?
Okay, so as disaster coordinator for the National Society, my role is to coordinate the National Red Cross disaster response on the ground, working in close coordination, of course, with NEMA, who is the lead agency. So our Director General would be the person at NEMA who sits on the Mitigation Council and would be communicating with me at Red Cross, and I would be coordinating the response effort of the Red Cross on the ground.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that, Mr. Seaton. President Ross, what are some of the activities that will be featured in celebration of this year's World Red Cross Day?
Okay. For this year World Red Cross Day, we are going to be on different social media, explaining to the community at large our role and what the purpose we have within society, not just for first aid, but we are going to go into depth and encourage members to join. And at the end of it, we are going to wind down with a social with all members from St. Kitts and Nevis joining together, so coming together in one celebration.
Mm-hmm.
And just to add, yesterday we attended church at the Pentecostal church on Boone Street up at the village. So that starts off our week of celebrations.
Awesome. It is 11:28 here in the studios of WINNFM 98.9. We'll take a break and we will be right back.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
When the star them there, we are top man, we take charge. Magnum we drink and we are shell down bars. Blast like a star with some gallopar. Overdo it, we take it too far. Take charge, take charge.
We are hot gal, we set the trend. Magnum we drink for the top man then. Wine with the style, no stop from spin. Hot blend, back bend, and take charge, take charge.
Magnum tonic wine, for the real star them. Take charge, take charge. Must be 18 or older, drink responsibly.
If you need protection, you need one who you can trust. To secure your investment, you need one who'll do you just. TDC Insurance, you're the one that you can trust. TDC Insurance, you're always safe with us.
TDC Insurance is your go-to insurance company for all your insurance needs. We take pride in offering you the best solutions and ensuring our customers are fully satisfied. TDC Insurance, we take good care of you, guaranteeing you peace of mind.
You're always safe with us.
Found the sound 98.9. Win FM.
What has you so happy?
My home internet just got upgraded, and I didn't even have to pay for it.
What? Which network you have?
Flow! Now I can get the fastest fiber internet in St. Kitts and Nevis for the lowest price.
Fastest internet for the lowest price? What's the catch?
No catch, my friend. 100 megabits per second for just $135 a month. With Flow, you truly get the best internet experience around.
Switch to Flow for the fastest fiber internet at the lowest price. Visit a Flow store today. Conditions apply.
Enjoy the convenience of getting all your documents in one place. At the TDC Copy and Print Center on 4th Street in Basse-Terre, we do just that. We offer document formatting, graphic design, and copy and print services. Our team of professionals truly understand all your needs, whether it be administrative, professional, academic, or personal. You bring it, we deliver it with quality every time. Visit the TDC Copy and Print Center today in the TDC Mall on 4th Street in Basse-Terre or call 465-2511. Your copy and print specialists are waiting to serve you.
Welcome back to Voices right here on WINNFM 98.9 for Monday, May 8, 2023. I'm Devonne Cornelius. For those of you who are just joining the program, we have in studio with us Yvette Ross, President of the St. Kitts Nevis National Red Cross Society, as well as Trevor Seaton, who is the disaster coordinator. Now, you guys have spoken extensively about the Red Cross and the work that the Red Cross, does here in St. Kitts and Nevis and worldwide. We know such an organization, it depends on people. So how does one become a member or a volunteer of the Red Cross? Are there any special skills that you must have, any qualifications, or you just sign up? Tell us about it.
Well, the Red Cross is open to anyone who willing to join. So there is no special skill set. So we welcome all, and perhaps going through some of the training programs, persons can find areas where they can fit in. However, we do welcome persons with various skill sets. Persons with a lot of young persons are now into IT and technology, and so we can do a lot with that type of skill set. We would require persons who have administrative skills to come and assist with support in our office and assist with administrative efforts. All of our staff are volunteers right now, but all of our members are volunteers. We don't have any full-time paid staff. Some persons may receive a stipend as part of a project, but and at the end of that project, that is it. So we don't have any full-time. So persons can, volunteer the time to come in and provide administrative assistance, technical assistance. Persons from the community can, volunteer to be part of our relief distribution team, assessment team. We train persons to be part of a community disaster response team. And because persons come directly from the community and are present in the community when the communities are impacted, they're on the ground so they can respond to situations within their community until additional help, the professional helps arrive on site. So we welcome persons with all backgrounds, and like I said, some of the training programs, like first aid, for example, will prepare persons for going out in the field and doing first aid at the various events that we have. Persons who are interested in swimming, we have what we call a water safety program, where we teach not just swimming, but we teach persons to be safe in the water, on the water, and around the water. And we also teach some basic waterfront rescue skills to those who may want to have social activities on the beach. We're always looking for volunteers for our disaster response effort, because depend on the magnitude of an event, we may need plenty hands to support our efforts around the clock. So we welcome volunteers with all background. There's no special skill set.
Mm-hmm. All right, go ahead, President Ross.
Okay, and if you're interested in being a member of Red Cross, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, and we're on Twitter, so we're up to date.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, our Instagram address is skn_Red Cross. That's, you can find us on Instagram. On Facebook is SKNRC Society. That's on Facebook. And again, you can, if you want to sign up for being a member on Red Cross, you can come to the headquarters, which is located at Hosford Street, Bastille. So it's an easy process, but it takes some steps in order for you to be a member. You don't just actually become a member. You must go through a process in order to become a member, an induction process.
Mm-hmm. Is there any number that you can call for those persons who may not be able to visit the office?
Yes, the number at the Red Cross office in Bastille, 465-2584. We also have a branch office in Nevis. I don't have the immediate number for that, but it's on Chapel Street
Yes.
in Nevis. And persons can also contact any member of the Red Cross. When we up and about, we always have a logo on, so persons can easily identify volunteers of the Red Cross and can approach any one of us to get more information and to receive forms for signing up.
Mm-hmm. Can you tell us about in your capacity as the disaster coordinator, and perhaps yourself, President Ross, can speak to this as well, but we are approaching the hurricane season. Can you share some of the plans that the Red Cross would have in place for this season, and the role that you play in major events like the St. Kitts Music Festival, CPL, how busy it is for the Red Cross around these times, and tell us about the intricacies and all of that.
Okay, so for disaster preparedness, we have continuous training for our volunteers in terms of logistics training. We have training in damage assessment and so forth. We have regular meetings with NEMA. And as part of over the last few years, we have been making efforts to pre-position more supplies on island, because we know from past experience it takes time for relief efforts to arrive on island. So we have been pre-positioning supplies at different locations around the St. Kitts and also on Nevis. And as I said, we have upgraded our warehousing facilities. we currently have supplies on island as well, holding for the International Red Cross. So in the event another neighboring island is affected, we can easily send supplies from St. Kitts to that particular island. So we have been positioning ourselves to respond in a more timely manner. And although the supplies that we give to persons is considered free, we try to give timely, quality service when it's most appropriate. And so great efforts are being made to pre-position a lot of the supplies that we would need prior to the start of the season. In terms of our response, operation with Music Festival, I'll allow our president to answer.
Events like CPL and Music Festival, we at the Red Cross, we offer our first aid assistant throughout the whole event. So we have a team on board. They are specialized in first aid and CPR, and they're there when needed.
What opportunities exist for young people who may be contemplating becoming a member? So outside of well, you can speak to the training opportunities that exist, but outside of the training opportunities, what else can someone benefit if they are to become a member of the Red Cross?
Okay, so well, young persons, they have the opportunity to network with other youths throughout the region, internationally. There are youth forum where the youths can meet either virtually or sometimes in person. And so there's a lot of opportunities for the youth to network with each other. Also, the youths have a chance to share their ideas, their perspective on, how share their ideas on how we can reach persons in the community, because youths have a perspective. They come from the community, and so we value their input in our planning, in our operations. So youths are part of our executive. We have a youth director on the society executive who bring a youth perspective. They can also benefit from, career opportunity from the different training activities that they are engaged in. We have had persons who went on to certain professions. We had volunteers who eventually became EMTs, nurses, doctors, meteorologists, and so different professions. And it also gave an opportunity for them to build leadership skills. They're given various leadership opportunities. And so there's a lot to benefit from their involvement within the movement.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Seaton. Guys, we'll take a quick break to acknowledge our sponsors, and when we come back, we'll begin wrapping up the program. Let's take this break, and we will be right back.
WINN is 98.9. 98.9 is WIN FM.
What has you so happy?
My home internet just got upgraded, and I didn't even have to pay for it.
What? Which network you have?
Flow! Now I can get the fastest fiber internet in St. Kitts and Nevis for the lowest price.
Fastest internet for the lowest price? What's the catch?
No catch, my friend. 100 megabits per second for just $135 a month. With Flow, you truly get the best internet experience around.
Switch to Flow for the fastest fiber internet at the lowest price. Visit a Flow store today. Conditions apply.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9 WIN FM.
If you need insurance, our service is the best. Home motor insurance,
Insurance Company Limited, where you get more coverage for less.
When the star them there, we a top man, we take charge. Magnum we drink and we a shell down hard. Blast like a star with some a gal apart. Overdo it, we take it too far. Take charge, take charge.
We a hot gal, we set the trend. Magnum we drink for the top man them. Wine with the style, no stop from spin. Hot blend, back bend, and take charge, take charge.
Magnum tonic wine for the real star them. Take charge, take charge.
Must be 18 or older, drink responsibly.
What has you so happy?
My home internet just got upgraded, and I didn't even have to pay for it.
What? Which network you have?
Flow. Now I can get the fastest fiber internet in St. Kitts and Nevis for the lowest price.
Fastest internet for the lowest price? What's the catch?
No catch, my friend. 100 megabits per second for just $135 a month. With Flow, you truly get the best internet experience around.
Switch to Flow for the fastest fiber internet at the lowest price. Visit a Flow store today. Conditions apply.
Welcome back to the program. This is Voices on WinFM 98.9 for Monday, May 8, 2023. It is 11:47 and we'll wrap up the program very shortly. For those of you who are just tuning in, on the program with us today is Yvette Ross, the president of the St. Kitts Nevis National Red Cross Society, as well as Trevor Seaton, the disaster coordinator for the Red Cross. Welcome to the program and thank you guys so much for joining us. Now, we've covered a lot of ground and you guys have told the listeners a lot and shared a lot of information about the Red Cross. Do you have anything else that you would want to share with the public at this point in time?
Okay, I have the contact information if you're on Nevis and you're interested in joining the Red Cross. The numbers are 469-5961 and 669-5961.
Okay, and as we know, we are now in the month of May and approaching the hurricane season. And so we just want to join with NEMA in encouraging persons to begin to take steps to prepare for the upcoming hurricane season. We know from experience that a person normally come to Red Cross or go to NEMA requesting a tarpaulin at the start of the season. And we just want to encourage persons to take the steps now to make whatever repairs to the house, to the roof. Do not wait until the rains begin to fall or there's threat of a storm to be looking for temporary cover, and that's what tarpaulins are. They are temporary cover, and putting them on just before a storm, there's no guarantee that they would stay on during the passage of that storm. And we are not in the position of distributing relief item prior to the impact of an event. And so if persons come to the Red Cross or go to NEMA, they may not receive a TAP cover. So we want to encourage persons to begin now to examine their roof and to do small bits of repairs as they can afford before the season begins.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much for that, Mr. Seaton. We're wrapping up. I think we've covered a lot. Anything else that you guys would want to share with the public at this time? If not, we can bring the program to a close. All right?
nothing else. Just to say that the theme for this World Red Cross Day is everything we do comes from the heart. And so the volunteers give of their time and their efforts from the heart. We want to also thank the persons who work, support the work of the Red Cross, those who give up their time or resources. We know over the last few years it has become challenging. Since COVID, it's been challenging for some persons, but there are persons out there who still continue to give of their resources, whether it's tangible items to support the work of Red Cross, or they give up their time. And so we want to recognize and to acknowledge the support that we receive from those individuals. Also the business community that contributes to our work. We want to thank NEMA for including the Red Cross as part of the National Disaster Response Team, the social services, the Ministry of Health, and all the ministries that we work with. And as I said, the persons from the business community and the persons in the community as well who step up when we go out to do assessment. They volunteer information. They assist us in community projects. So on this World Red Cross Day, we want to also acknowledge the support that we receive from the community and to thank them for their support.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Seaton, and thank you, Ms. Ross. Ladies and gentlemen, you were listening to Yvette Ross, the president of the St. Kitts Nevis Red Cross, the St. Kitts Nevis National Red Cross Society, and Trevor Seaton, who is the disaster coordinator. Again, thank you so much for joining us here on Voices for today. And on behalf of all of us here at WINNFM, we wish you the very best in your activities and other events you have. And the work of the Red Cross, we are always welcome. You are always welcome. And thank you guys so much for joining. All right, Yvette Ross and Trevor Seaton of the St. Kitts Nevis National Red Cross Society. Red Cross Society. It is 11:54 here in the studios of WINNFM 98.9. I am your host for today, Devonne Cornelius, who will break at 12 for the headline news, and when we come back, I'll continue the second half of the program. Again, thank you so much for joining. There are a number of things that I want to touch in the second half of the program, and I'm hoping that you guys would be able to join me. The numbers to call, let me give them out early so when we come back, the numbers to call are 466-0989, 662-0989. If you are in USA or Canada, you can call us at 718-285-6984 or 305-921-4619. And for the United Kingdom, that is 033-344-0068. Again, 033-344-0068. We break at 12 for the headline news. But there's so much happening in St. Kitts and Nevis, and of course, I'll give you the opportunity to share your views and opinions on matters of national interest. And, things are happening here in St. Kitts and Nevis. On Saturday, not on Saturday, let me share a notice here with you from the Ministry of Agriculture. It says, in an effort to continue discussions on the way forward for the overall development of the agricultural sector, The Minister of Agriculture, also responsible for fisheries, marine resources, and cooperatives, Samuel Duggins, will be hosting a series of meetings for farmers and fishers in St. Kitts during the month of May. The farmers and fishers will be divided into two groups and will meet as follows. The fishers are scheduled to meet on Wednesday, 10th May, while livestock farmers are expected to meet on Thursday, 11th May. Crop farmers will receive information regarding their session in a follow-up notice or press release. The sessions are set to begin at 5:30 p.m. Interested persons are asked to contact the Ministry of Agriculture at 467-1016 for more information. That is 467-1016. 467-1016 for more information on this meeting that will be held with farmers and fishers. As I was saying, on Saturday, the coronation of His Majesty King Charles III, representatives from the Caribbean region attended the coronation, including Prime Minister Dr. Terence Drew and Premier Mark Brantley. They were in attendance at the coronation of His Majesty King Charles III. I note that there were discussions about small island developing states. They met with the an official from the United Nations and other senior officials and representatives of other countries across the globe. And this was on Saturday. Also part of the delegation was Her Excellency Dame Marcella Liebert, the Governor General of St. Kitts and Nevis, Deputy Governor General, Her Honor, Mrs. Hailita Liebert, Naima Hazel, Permanent Secretary in the office, in the Prime Minister's office, and Thovia France from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The other persons who represented us at the coronation of His Majesty King Charles III.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
We now bring you the headline news. The headline news is brought to you by Caribbean Alliance, KDP Enterprises, The Grange, and Caribbean.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib, it's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
When it comes to the important things in life, your health, your education, your choice of a life partner, and of course your insurance provider, only the best will do. Caribbean Alliance Insurance is the only insurance company in the Eastern Caribbean with an A excellent rating. We have a robust 3-tier reinsurance strategy that protects our policyholders from multiple catastrophes, even if they occur in quick succession. We spread our risks over 18 territories, ensuring minimal impact to individual territories when a disaster strikes. We provide an excellent claims experience. Claim settlement is usually between 24 to 48 hours. Our A excellent rating means that you are more secure with us. Contact us for motor, property, marine, public liability, employer's liability, and other policies. Dalil Walwyn, people you can trust. Local agent for Caribbean Alliance Insurance. Tomorrow secured. Did you know that the Grange Healthcare Facility is the first purpose-built, non-governmental healthcare organization on St. Kitts? It's situated at Otley's, 7 miles east of Basseterre in beautifully landscaped surroundings. The Grange has a team of highly trained professionals and provides care that's rated as being comparable with UK and North American standards. The Grange offers varied accommodations to suit your individual needs, and our all-inclusive packages make the cost of care per hour the most competitive on the island. Services include convalescent care for all ages, daycare facilities for older adults, rehabilitation services, and training and continuing education for healthcare providers. For more information, call 466-5525 or 465-8020. Fax 466-8221 or email thegrangehealth@gmail.com or visit our website at www.grangehealthcarefacility.com.
Shipping your cargo shouldn't be a hassle. It can be as easy as a single call to Amerijet International, your worldwide cargo transportation solution. We provide all the services you need to ship your goods anywhere in the world, whether your shipment is fresh, frozen, large or small, alive or hazardous. You can count on Amerijet to deliver it safe and sound. Amerijet International, by land, sea or air, we get it there. For more information, visit us online at www.amerijet.com or call us at KDP Enterprises at 466-9595.
With the WINNMedia News, I am Devonne Cornelius. In our headlines, St. Kitts and Nevis is not totally free under King Charles III, says Prime Minister Drew. Across the region, Trinidad and Tobago judiciary condemns a statement made by National Security Minister that criminals are friends within that fraternity. The details of these and other stories straight ahead. An investigation has been launched into the armed robbery of a Buckley's supermarket. In a statement to the media on Monday, police say on May 6, 2023, they responded to the crime reported at All Day Supermarket located at Buckley's Extension. The business owner, Jian Long Wu of Sprott Street, reported that at about 8 p.m. on Saturday, 2 masked male assailants entered his store armed with handguns, which they promptly aimed at him. One assailant held Mr. Wu at gunpoint while the other proceeded to search his supermarket. Mr. Wu complied with the robbers' demands and opened his cash register. They stole a sum of money and subsequently fled the scene. St. Kitts and Nevis is not totally free under King Charles III, says Prime Minister Drew. Here is a special report from the BBC.
Now, the Prime Minister of the Caribbean nation of St. Kitts and Nevis has told the BBC that his country is not totally free as long as King Charles III remains head of state. Dr. Terence Drew said he would welcome an apology from the monarchy for its historic role in the slave trade. There are 14 Commonwealth realms or countries where the king remains head of state. 8 in the Caribbean, 8 remain in the Caribbean, I should say, where questions linger over the Crown's role in the slave trade and whether or not to go republic. Our correspondent Celestina Olulode reports.
The shifting tides of constitutional change. This tiny island is reconsidering its relationship with the Crown. The Prime Minister of St Kitts and Nevis says he wants to give people a say on who their head of state should be.
The head of state still reside in the monarchy of England. And so that aspect of it is telling us that we are not totally free yet. That consultation or discussion will start sometime during my leadership.
The Prime Minister is also calling for an apology for the monarchy's historic role in the slave trade.
I think that acknowledging that something would have gone wrong, something wrong was done, that acknowledging it and apologizing for it is a step in the right direction.
Buckingham Palace says slavery is an issue the King takes profoundly seriously. Last month, the palace said it was supporting independent research into the royal family's historic links to the slave trade. And on the matter of countries becoming republics, King Charles has said it is a matter for each nation to decide.
Britain's influence remains strong here, even after almost 40 years of independence. But as this nation reaches that milestone, there's ongoing debate around its identity.
We still have the same colonialistic thinking, and that is one thing we have to move away from. That's why I think that becoming a republic would just benefit our people more.
For us to be as so small to go do such a big step would be impressionable onto the world, I would say.
But a recent poll suggests the country is still split on whether becoming a republic is a good idea. If there's one place that illustrates St Kitts and Nevis' colonial past, it's Brimstone Hill Fortress, the site of several royal visits, including the then Prince Charles in 2019.
The entire structure was built by enslaved Africans. They're the ones who harvested the stone and cut them into shape.
Historian Leonard Stapleton showed the king around the island.
We recognize that the people that fill the office of the monarchy, they are in person, kind, and genuine human beings, but the office do represent the same force that was behind the enslavement of the Africans.
As the country strides forward, questions linger, and reaching an agreement regarding any next steps appears to be a long way off. Celestina Olulode, BBC News, St Kitts and Nevis.
And we can join Celestina more now for more on her report. Celestina, there are still 14 nations in the Commonwealth realm which do have King Charles as their head of state and monarch, but is there still an appetite for that?
Well, Nancy, really it depends on who you talk to throughout these 8 remaining realms in the Caribbean. This, though, is all about symbols. This is all about how a nation sees itself. Now, according to a recent poll, should there be a referendum taking place in those 8 realms today, it would be the countries that, like Jamaica, Antigua and the Bahamas that would go republic. I think, though, that whoever you speak to throughout the Caribbean, for example, when I was in St Kitts, people have different answers. For example, Leonard Stapleton, the historian you saw in my report there, he said to me that for some people, when they see their prime ministers have it sworn in and having to swear allegiance to the British Crown, this irks them in a way. So lots of questions remain really over how much of an appetite is there for transitioning to a republic.
Well, as you mentioned in your report, there is, of course, this sometimes troubled history between Caribbean nations and the monarchy, and there are calls for reparations coming from some Caribbean nations. Just tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so You may remember last year there were a number of royal tours throughout the Caribbean, and whilst people did come out in support, cheering the royals, there was also people holding placards, people protesting, calling for reparations. And I think for some people in the Caribbean, they see these royal tours as an opportunity to tell the world what they think on these matters, really. Now, I should say as well that speaking to Prime Minister Dr. Terence Drew, he said that he wants King Charles to acknowledge the role in the historic role the royal family played in the slave trade, and he said that he wants an apology. Now, King Charles has said, and I quote, that slavery is something that he sees as something he takes profoundly seriously. He says he cannot describe the depths of personal sorrow at suffering caused by slavery. And King Charles last month said that he welcomed a study exploring the relationship between the monarchy and the slave trade in the 17th and 18th centuries.
Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis, the Honourable Dr. Terence Drew, met with numerous influential world leaders and shared the vision of his administration for the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. He began his second day in London, May 5, 2023, accompanied by the Governor-General, Dame Marcella Liebert, GCMG JP, by attending a small island developing states SIDS breakfast organized by the UK Foreign Office to demonstrate its support for SIDS. Prime Minister Drew engaged with other world leaders and sensitized them to the government's plans to transform St. Kitts and Nevis into a sustainable small island state. He expressed the need for partnership and support to move the country forward without the limiting concept of gross domestic product (GDP per capita). He also discussed upcoming geothermal projects and the vision to expand fisheries within the Federation. After the coronation ceremony at Westminster Abbey, guests were invited to the church house adjacent to Westminster Abbey, where the UK Foreign Secretary hosted a reception. Prime Minister Drew, Governor-General Dame Marcella Liebert, GCMG JP, and the Minister of Foreign Affairs, the Right Honourable Dr. Denzil Douglas, met with the UK Secretary of State for Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Affairs, the Right Honourable James Cleverly, other leaders and senior officials of other countries. Prime Minister Drew shared with officials that his government would imminently establish a task force charged with animating appropriate strategic approaches to address in a whole-of-government approach the ongoing water issues, renewables, developing mechanisms to manage sustainably the Federation's marine resources, and forge through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs partnerships to achieve those strategic, targeted and measurable goals. Prime Minister Drew further maximized the opportunity in his brief encounter with a senior United Nations official to share information on his approach to universal health care and asked for support from the UN in prioritizing healthcare access across the Caribbean.
This is the Carib Update News Service. I am Wendy Chateau reporting. Antigua and Barbuda has appointed American movie stars Angela Bassett and Dawn Lewis as tourism ambassadors. An official statement in St. John's has said the two have agreed to make appearances on behalf of Antigua and Barbuda on a voluntary basis. The movie stars are both currently in Antigua participating in Sailing Week. The Trinidad and Tobago judiciary has condemned a controversial statement made by National Security Minister Fitzgerald Hines, alleging that criminals have friends within that fraternity. Describing the statement as unfortunate, the release from the judiciary said the gratuitous statements, such as the one made by the minister, have a dangerous effect of undermining public trust and confidence in the judiciary. In a televised statement on Monday, Hines sought to address a constitutional lawsuit brought by firearm dealer Brent Thomas over his prosecution for firearms offenses, which was upheld by High Court Judge Devonne Rampasad last week. During the event, Hines reportedly stated that criminals have friends everywhere in the country. This is Newsbreak from the Carib Update News Service. In more news, Venezuelan authorities have detained 2 people in connection with trafficking people to Trinidad and Tobago for sex under the guise of offering the victims jobs. The authorities detained a 19-year-old woman in the state of Managas and a man, 42, in the state of Delta Amacuro for human trafficking. Reports said the case became known through complaints and interviews with one of the victims' family. The authorities were informed that the victim was waiting to be transferred by people who offered them work in Trinidad and Tobago. Investigators found out that the detainees offered the victims jobs in commercial premises in TNT, indicating that they would be responsible for paying personal costs. An ex-farm worker is rejecting the report on working conditions of Jamaican farm workers in Canada, saying it is not a true representation of the facts. A fact-finding team was appointed last year following complaints by farm workers of poor working conditions in Canada under the Seasonal Agricultural Workers Program. The team said its overall assessment was that Jamaican farm workers were working under good conditions. According to the report, 71% of those surveyed described the treatment from their employer as either good or very good. But the ex-farm worker argued that the report is not credible, as farm workers failed to provide truthful information to the team out of fear of being victimized. This has been another edition of Newsbreak from the Carib Update News Service, the Caribbean's newsroom. I'm Wendy Chateau reporting.
Air raid alerts have sounded across southern and central Ukraine in response to the latest missile attacks by Russia. Residents of the Ukrainian capital, Kyiv, were told to head to shelters shortly before midnight local time. The mayor said 5 people had been injured. This is the aftermath of a drone attack overnight in Kyiv. You can see the extent of the damage there. The southern city of Odessa has also been targeted. Russia has stepped up its aerial attacks ahead of an expected offensive by Ukraine. A Ukrainian general in Bakhmut said Russia had intensified its shelling of the devastated city too. Russia's Wagner Group boss says Moscow has agreed to his demands for more ammunition days after he threatened to withdraw his troops from Bakhmut. Russian troops and fighters from Wagner, a private military company, have been trying to capture Bakhmut for months, despite the city's questionable strategic value. Well, I spoke to our correspondent Hugo Bachega, who's in Kyiv with the latest developments.
The air raid alert sounded before midnight, and it lasted for 3.5 hours. And we heard some loud explosions here in the capital. The authorities said it was because air defense was repelling the attack. Now, it was the 4th time that Kyiv came under attack in 8 days, and we had an update from the army saying that Russia had fired 35 drones, those Iranian-made drones that Russia has been using to attack cities across the country, and that all of them were intercepted by air defense systems. The mayor here in Kyiv said 5 people were hurt as a result of the attack. Some of them were injured because of debris that fell after a drone was intercepted. And Russia also used missiles, also fired missiles at cities across the country, and the army said 16 missiles had been fired. And in the port city of Odessa, a warehouse was hit, and we also know that the cities of Kherson, Kharkiv, Mykolaiv were targeted in this wave of Russian airstrikes. So another wave of attacks by Russia. Russia has intensified these attacks targeting cities and towns across Ukraine away from the front lines ahead of this much anticipated Ukrainian counteroffensive. The authorities here say they're finishing their plans for this counteroffensive to try to take back territory that's now under Russian occupation.
Okay, Hugo, as you've been speaking, we've been looking at images that have just been released by the Ukrainian armed forces of some of the devastation that's been wrought by these attacks. What more do we know about the celebrations that Russia is planning to mark its annual Victory Day tomorrow? Do these strikes on Ukraine, are they tied in with what we can expect tomorrow?
Well, it's difficult to say because we've seen these attacks. They have intensified over the last few weeks. But obviously, this latest wave happens a day before Victory Day celebrations in Russia. We know that a number of explosions, attacks have been reported inside Russia and also in Russian-controlled territory. We know that a number of cities in Russia have cancelled their celebrations, or some of the festivities have been scaled down because of the threat, because of the fear that more attacks and more incidents could happen. We know that President Putin will be tomorrow presiding over a parade in Moscow. And obviously this is a big day for Russia. This is a day of big celebrations there in the country, a very significant day, a Victory Day in Russia. And again, these latest attacks here in Ukraine happening a day before that.
That was the WINNFM Headline News. The Headline News was brought to you by Caribbean Alliance, KDP Enterprises, The Grange, and Caribou.
Shipping your cargo shouldn't be a hassle. It can be as easy as a single call to Amerijet International, your worldwide cargo transportation solution. We provide all the services you need to ship your goods anywhere in the world, whether your shipment is fresh, frozen, large or small, alive or hazardous. You can count on Amerijet to deliver it safe and sound. Amerijet International, by land, sea or air, we get it there. For more information, visit us online at www.amerijet.com or call us at KDP Enterprises at 466-9595.
With over a century of perfection behind the Mackeson name, a smooth blend with perfect balance and richness, it's no wonder Mackeson Triple Stout has a legacy of perfection. Enjoyed the world over. Introducing our new look with the same great taste. Mackeson. All hail the king.
Please drink responsibly.
Did you know that the Grange Healthcare Facility is the first purpose-built, non-governmental healthcare organization on St. Kitts? It's situated at Otley's, 7 miles east of Basseterre in beautifully landscaped surroundings. The Grange has a team of highly trained professionals and provides care that's rated as being comparable with UK and North American standards. The Grange offers varied accommodations to suit your individual needs, and our all-inclusive packages make the cost of care per hour the most competitive on the island. Services include convalescent care for all ages, daycare facilities for older adults, rehabilitation services, and training and continuing education for healthcare providers. For more information, call 466-5525 or 465-8020. Fax 466-8221 or email thegrangehealth@gmail.com or visit our website at www.grangehealthcarefacility.com. When it comes to the important things in life, your health, your education, your choice of a life partner, and of course your insurance provider, Only the best will do. Caribbean Alliance Insurance is the only insurance company in the Eastern Caribbean with an A excellent rating. We have a robust 3-tier reinsurance strategy that protects our policyholders from multiple catastrophes, even if they occur in quick succession. We spread our risks over 18 territories, ensuring minimal impact to individual territories when a disaster strikes. We provide an excellent claims experience. Claim settlement is usually between 24 to 48 hours. Our A excellent rating means that you are more secure with us. Contact us for motor, property, marine, public liability, employer's liability, and other policies. Dalil Walwyn, people you can trust. Local agent for Caribbean Alliance Insurance. Tomorrow secured.
King Ocean, king of the Caribbean seas, announces king-size savings on shipments from Miami to St. Kitts. We have the best service and competitive rates on LCL and FCL cargo, including D&E containers, cars, heavy equipment, buses, boats, and barrels from Miami to St. Kitts. LCL pickup service anywhere in the U.S. Call local agents SL Horseman and Company Limited at 869-465-4086 or 869-662-5008 for further details. King Ocean's king-size savings on shipments from Miami to St. Kitts Nevis. King Ocean, king of the Caribbean seas.
Greetings. With Labor Day just gone, I think it might be useful to have this conversation. Up to 1940, the British made it illegal to form unions and political parties here in St. Kitts and Nevis. The reason for that was obvious. The British felt that their dominance might be diluted, if not threatened, if the workers were to be organized. The British were comfortable with the cruel conditions which they had imposed upon our people. And one of the many cruelties that were inflicted on a subjugated people was having the subjugated people sing the national anthem of England, which is God Save Their King or Queen, whatever gender the holder at the time might be. God save the king of a nation which subjugates and enslaves and deprives and oppresses us. That to me was highly symbolic of the disrespect and disregard. But at the time, the land, the economy, and the power were theirs. They were making massive profits, and little else mattered to them. And of course, they wanted it to continue. With unions and political parties banned, the workers, however, found some degree of comfort and community through the benevolent associations. But more was needed. There was an uprising in St. Kitts in 1935, and that helped to trigger similar action throughout the region, to the point that the British government set up a commission which was headed by Lord Moyne, set up in 1938 to investigate economic and social conditions in the British Islands. The Moyne Commission report was completed in 1939, but only completely released at the end of World War II in 1945, because the British government thought that the contents of the report might be so damning to the British image that the Germans might use it for propaganda. In 1937, we had an election here to the Legislative Council. First one in 50 years. No political parties were allowed, but persons associated with the Workers' League, which had been formed in 1932, were candidates, and they won. In that election of 1937, there were 1,167 registered voters in St. Kitts, contesting 3 seats, 328 in Nevis, contesting 1, and I don't know how many in Anguilla, contesting the 1 seat there. The gentlemen connected with the Workers' League were successful in 3 seats in St. Kitts, in the 3 seats. And although that election was a step in the right direction, it was not mightily consequential, because the British still ruled. Administrator, governor, we were just allowed to go into the legislature and, as we say, bang our mouths. There was another legislative council election in 1940, and again in 43, and in 46 again, which is when Robert Bradshaw entered elective politics. And of course, he won. And there was another election in 1952, the year for voting under adult suffrage. Everybody could vote. And in 1957, for the first time, in that election, candidates ran under the name of the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party. All of these elections before 1957, as I said, were won by members of the Workers' League, running in their own names. So clearly, changes were taking place. Locals and local groups were getting into the legislative part of government. We had high-level civil servants, but not top decision makers in the executive branch. Changes in the minds of many were coming too slowly. One thing the Moyne Commission was dead against was these islands getting independence, which is exactly what the Workers' League and similar organizations in the region wanted. So all of the process had begun earlier. By 1957, the workers now had the St. Kitts Nevis Trades and Labor Union and the St. Kitts and Nevis Labour Party to protect and promote them. The union was not only a defender of workers in the workplace, it was also a focal point for personal, social, and community bonding, a learning and training institution, and a forum at which the older and younger generations could connect with each other, and at which philosophies and ideas could be shared. Marcus Garvey featured prominently in those conversations. The union, even with its imperfections, was like a very extended community. And I believe that the decline of the union has had a negative impact on relationships and has contributed to distrust and divisiveness among workers, and to antisocial behaviors, and also to the deficit in social consciousness and civic mindedness, which we see in evidence in our country today. The decline of the union. I believe also that the decline has contributed to splitting us up as a community and turning us into silos, each of us scrambling, often blindly and in vain, for the success and sustainability that could so much more easily be attained by workers coming together responsibly in their own cause and in the cause of the country. I also believe that this decline and weakening of the union and trade unionism generally in our country, one, has contributed to employers taking advantage of workers and abusing their rights as workers and as human beings, as well as abusing employment laws. You may or may not be surprised to know how many workers are terrified of speaking out and standing up in defense of their rights and afraid to speak about joining a union. A co-worker might squeal and a job might be lost in the process. I believe that the weakening and decline of the union has also contributed to suppliers of goods and services taking advantage of consumers whose membership in the union would cause them to learn and act in relation to their rights and responsibilities as consumers and citizens, not just as workers. So membership in the union would have them educated about their rights, not just as workers, but as consumers and as citizens. This is what the union did, and this is what responsible unions do. I also believe that the decline has allowed successive governments to engage in slack and sometimes corrupt practices with regard to people coming into this country, getting contracts, deals, and work which our people should be getting. successive governments have not taken the initiative to protect our workers and protect jobs for our workers. Likewise for business. And the absence of a robust union means that much needed pressure, which should and could be applied to government to do the right thing, is not applied. So bad things happen. Good unions don't only police the workplace, they police the government. Now, in a single industry economy, especially one like sugar, in the circumstances that we had, it was sometimes difficult, even impossible, to distinguish between the union and the party. And this was a big turnoff to some people who would otherwise have joined the union. Let us face it. And there is no doubt about it in my mind, the connection between the two and the way that that connection has worked. While it may have won Labour some elections and certainly did a lot of good for workers over the decades, it also hurt the cause of workers in a number of ways. Plus, there were key figures in the union who in the late 1970s had a very bad attitude towards workers and others, and that too caused people to turn away from the union. Then in 1980, PAM got into government, and for 15 years, we had really an anti-union administration in the country. They tried their best to erase the union from the face of the map. Then they were succeeded by a Labour administration in 1995, of which I was a member. And we did not do enough for the union. We did not do enough to change arrangements and to support and encourage workers and their rights. We need to put some sunshine between the party and the union. Two siblings, love each other, sister organizations, but different. I believe also that the closure of the sugar industry in 2005 did some damage to the union and to trade unionism generally. The millennials living among us know little or nothing about unions or collective bargaining or things like that. And when you are a worker and you don't know these things, and more importantly, you don't act on these things, then you're exposing yourself to getting taken advantage of. I also believe that turning the Labor Day March into a political event rather than keeping it as a celebration and honoring of workers has been a turnoff, both for unionism and for the Labour Party. And making it a political event has only deepened the divisiveness among workers, in my opinion. Again, I was part of that. I'm a culprit. I'm seeing in my older years light that I may not have seen in my younger years. But who suffer most and who have suffered most from all of these things? The workers and the country. No protection, no promotion, no institutional support, little or no respect from employers, and little or no recognition from governments. Indeed, in some instances, hostility from governments. I met a Jamaican female last Saturday. She told me that she had landed in St. Kitts about a week and a half before with $200 in her possession. I spoke to her the following day, Sunday, and she told me that she had just gotten a job. I asked her if she had a work permit, and she said that the employer would be applying for one for her. Mind you, she has the job. She says the employer is going to apply for a work permit for the job, which she says she has. Government hasn't given permission. There are rules, there are laws. Totally illegal. Totally slack by the government agencies, which are supposed to be policing these things. And totally disrespectful to the people of this country, especially the people who cannot get work. I know a number of local people who, because they refused to take the COVID vaccination, lost their jobs. I know a number of them who still cannot get work in this land where they were born, out of work for 2 years. have children to feed, have loans to pay, have obligations all over. Well, while they're struggling and cannot get a job in St. Kitts, people are waltzing in from failed and crime-riddled states in the region. No due diligence, saint or criminal alike, coming in and doing their thing. Others from China, others from India, and other faraway countries, some with even less than $200 to their names. Getting jobs in weeks, in less than weeks. Jobs that our people should be doing. Jobs that our people cannot get, having lost jobs from the COVID vaccination thing that happened. Something has to be wrong. You go to the prison project. Tell me, who are the workers down there? We made a lot of noise about it. Who are the workers at the prison project? Go to the Ramada site where there are all sorts of problems. People getting paid late, knockbout that the locals are getting, parts of ceilings falling in. And what is happening in the midst of all of that? Another building is going up. Go and check it. Look at who are the workers on that building. Tell me how many locals you see. Is this a real place we live in? Is this our country? Are we being protected? Are we seeking protection? Are we demanding protection? Are we taking steps to ensure with whoever and with whatever we have to take those steps? Are we doing that? This administration needs to tighten up on all of these things. It needs to clean up the mess and the corruption if and where they exist. Do not invite workers to a political march or even to a workers' march. If they can't get work, they got fired because of the COVID vaccine. They can't feed their families. Why would they come to a workers' march? Why would they come to a political march? Especially when they see people traipsing in here from all over the place. Some of them can't speak a word of English. Others can speak English, but you don't know if they're criminals or not. They're working. How many Jamaicans or Dominicanos, Chinese or Indians did you see in the march on Monday? Are they going to vote in or vote out anybody in the next election? To the Labour Party leadership, I say, please let the union be the union and just be a good sibling. Prepare the way for next year's march to be a true workers' march, where workers unify in a country and act responsibly. That country progresses and people prosper. Where workers are set asunder and taken advantage of, like the way it is happening in our country, there is no chance of progress and prosperity for the majority of our people. And to all of you I say, look at us now. The struggle for workers' rights and social and economic justice started here in 1935. And here we are today, 87 years later, at the back of the line, with everybody in the region ahead of us in terms of the fight for workers and the fight by workers. That is a shame. And I'm calling on all of us. I'm calling on our leaders to put an end to this shame, to put our people first, and to pave the way, create the enabling environment to empower our workers and to build true prosperity in our country. Thank you.
Found the sound 98.9
It's tool season at Horsewood's Building and Nevis Center on St. Kitts and Nevis. Don't miss out on the year's best time to buy tools. Get 25% off selected tools store-wide. Hundreds of tools on sale. Slash by 25%. 25% off on tools for this tool season at Horsewood's Building Center on St. Kitts and Nevis. Horsewood's Building and Nevis Centers, the Federation's favorite home improvement stores. Some exclusions apply. See stores for details.
Welcome back to Voices right here on WinFM 98.9 for Monday, May 8, 2023. I'm Devonne Cornelius, and thank you so much for joining the discussion. The phone lines are open, and we are taking your calls at 466-0989 or at 662-0989. Numbers, the overseas numbers are 718-285-6984 or 305-921-4619. If you are in the United Kingdom, you can call us at 033-344-0065. Let's take some calls for this afternoon. Hello, caller. Good afternoon. You're on the air.
Yes. Good afternoon, Devon.
How are you doing today?
I am good, man. How are you doing?
I'm fantastic.
Will you reach back here quick? I sure I see somebody in the crowd like you.
Why? I don't think it was me. I was here all the time.
Okay, then. People and people that look alike, close. I said, when Devon went up, they could really see the hat going, the crown going good on the head. Oh, Devon, I want to thank you for that clip you played here with Dwyer Astafan. Dwyer is telling it exactly like how it is and how we see it. And amen to that, Dwyer. Now, Devon, you realize if you have an animal and the animal is tied or it fenced that it cannot get any food, and he happens to bust the chain or rope or jump over the fence or get out of the pen, you know where he's going? He's going straight where there is food and he's going to eat. He's not going to ask anybody for anything because they can't talk. And so it is with people. When people are getting money so that they can feed their stomach, feed their children, and meet the obligation to the home, and that money is taken away from them, what does the person who take the money away from them expect? They're going to do negative things. All kind of things that they never planned to do in life. They're going to do it. And why they did it? Why they did such? Because they have to survive. Now, I am not condoning wrong. Stealing is wrong. Breaking people's place is wrong. Holding up people in the business place and robbing them, it is wrong, wrong, wrong. But things just don't happen like that. There is a cause why everything happened. Recently, we've been having all these kind of hold up. When it's not in Nevis holiday, it's down in St. Kitts holiday. They're not only waiting till the dark now to hold you up, What that show? That show that they are desperate to get money to feed them and the family and everybody. Well, wrong is wrong still. But anyway, now, they got some business places here in St. Kitts and Nevis too, but St. Kitts, I'm sure St. Kitts has more than 45 now. And they are what you call supermarkets. And they come from China. People going to say, well, they are citizens, they buy citizenship with passports, so they have a right to open the business. But they need to have a cap on them. They have too many of them here come open supermarket. What happens is people don't know how to sell food too. All the mom and pops, them shut down. Can't cope with them because they are being subsidized by the country where they come from. So therefore, our little mom and pop cannot compete with them. Otherwise, we're heading down the loser street. And all authorities of government supposed to clamp down on that kind of behavior of business. Not one of them Chinese come here and say they're going to open a factory and teach Kittish and Nivisions how to make this and make that. What happened to car parts? What happened to radios? What happened to radio parts, television parts, and all those kind of things? Nothing. What happened to these Chinese here? They want to dominate the whole world with supermarket. And when they have enough all over the world, then they're going to rule the whole world. We can't allow that. We have to do something to stop this foolishness, man. Every village you go, and they see, well, then you have a certain amount of residents there. They're going to look for a house to open a shop. As soon as somebody dead in a house and they bury them, they don't bury, they're going to ask to rent them the place. That is wrong and bad. And we're calling on the authorities them to clamp down on these people. Done with that. And with Dwyer, I agree with Dwyer. Too many people come in here, no work permit, and get work. And who live here cannot get work. They're telling you, well, by things slow. Things slow. We're hearing stuff for them who come in here without work permit. Immigration, them need to get up and go around the country and check on these people around here and see who legal in the country. The next thing I have to say before I go, I tired talk, me, other people like Carl Brown, and a lot of people, and even Jean, we always say that they need to have an amnesty on illegal guns. And anyhow you catch that anybody with an illegal gun after the amnesty, the penalty is supposed to be so harsh and hard that anybody got any illegal gun or intend to buy one, they will change their mind. Change their mind. So immigration, we're calling on you all to get up. Now, there is a punching bag coming last week. A boxer's punching bag. No name on it. No name on it, but something was inside. Compressed, vacuum covered marijuana inside the bag. I don't know if they hear, Brother Bumpy, my friend, said that he wants some people to send some boxing gears so he can open his boxing academy and start to use them. I don't know if they hear him. So they say, well, okay, I'm sending this to Bumpy. And when somebody can tell Bumpy a punching bag up there, and Bumpy might go and say, yo, he come for he. But no name on it. So if Bumpy had go claim that he will have been in 1840, mumbling and going. Thank you for your time, Brother Devonne.
All right, Carl, and thank you as well for your contribution to the discussion for today. It is 1 o'clock here in the studios of WINNFM 98.9. The phone lines are open, and we are taking your calls at 466-0989 or 662-0989. USA and Canada, the numbers are 718-285-6984 or 305-921-4619. Let's head back to the phone lines and we'll take this call. Caller, you are on the air. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Devon. How are you today?
I'm doing good, thanks.
Stay good, Stay good. Watch your actions, you understand? Then you would have to come and confess to the nation that you are part of it. The damage has already been done. You know the song, sir? Oh, the damage has already been done. You know the song, right? Mm-hmm. Come, you can sing, man. How it go? You're a big time singer in Nevis, you know.
Caller, go ahead, make your point.
All right, the damage has already been done. Now, I grew up in a house where my mother and my father were members of the Workers' League. That's before it became the Labour Party. Paid all their dues and everything. And the Labour Party came up, aggressive, and after the PAM Party came up, they took upon themselves the task of deciding who was PAM and who was Labour. And if they assume that you sympathize with the PAM Party, even though you were paying your dues, you got no representation. Do I talk about the hostile treatment? Now, I went to UE in 1982, and in 83, I did labor economics, and I chose it deliberately, because I saw how ours was functioning, and I was surprised at the level of activity in Jamaica in terms of the things that the labor union does. And when I came back in 84, I began to talk to some of the people in that same union in Massey's house, trying to motivate them in as what they could do. And I was rebuffed. The only person, Latumba Tak, Menevino Tak, he died the other day. He was the only one willing to listen. He was the only one. Then when Fidel's son, Joseph Lairty, came, I used to encourage him because I know that they were working below expectation. And you wouldn't believe the amount of training a lot of them in there got from the ILO, you know. But they are more concerned about the survival of the Labour Party than workers' causes. Even things that they could do, training they could do, workshops they could do. And what make it worse, once the Labour Party is in power, they don't have to go and look for anybody because their pay becomes sure. They are then placed on boards or transferred into government departments where they collect a salary. Now, when the Labour is in opposition, they have to get up and go and find members to get work, to get their pay. Once their pay is sure, they don't care. They don't care, you know. And even now, you hear some of them who gone on this board, on the water board, the dirt board. I mean, what is the impetus? What is the incentive they have to go and get members? And they are participating in the deprivation of workers. Once I went to ask a question, I was told, oh, we don't represent civil servants. When the civil servants, they have no union, they used to have one, you know. When I first became a teacher in the 60s.
Okay.
And the party people bash it up. So civil servants, where they going? They got to go Labour Department, government to government. And when they took over the estate land and everything, and they became the owner of the sugar industry, sugar workers discovered that they had nobody to represent them. Because who run in the union is who own the sugar estates them. They are the ones. And to make it worse, you know, I was so surprised listening on Labor Day. Young politicians, oh, these are your representatives. Up to now, not one Labor union representative spoke on the street. Not one. Not one. They're advertising themselves, and oh, they're going to get... That's not their job. The job about the negotiation for this increase is not up to the government. There's a tripartite. I know because I was on a committee when they were doing Caribbean economic reform. And that bill was to go into the House 2013 in Parliament. He ain't reaching yet. Under Dr. Harris, I brought up the same thing. Oh, we're working on it. And up to now, we ain't gone in. Now this set gone back in, and they're working on it. If you're really serious about workers' interests, they would expedite it because there are many new laws in the draft code that are not in our labor laws here. But they're dragging their foot. You know, and then you take so many thousand people off of the PAP and you call them to march. I suppose, you see the one with the electricity when Dr. Douglas said, I feel like I could cry. He carried up the electricity bill and then called people, you have to come and march against the electricity that he carried up. The same thing, they take people off of the PAP and off the other things. And, oh, come and march. I am saying to Miss Mills, Precious Mills, I think she is the General Secretary, you all get serious. Get serious. According to the code, first preference to work should be given to nationals or citizens. It's in the code, you know. It is right in there. So what are they waiting for? What are you waiting for? All these promises, you know. Right now we are fools. One after the other, all the promises in the manifesto, they've been broken. The thing that means something to workers, So I am glad that Dwyer confess. Because he sent a message, but I don't think they're going to listen because he had done his share. They've all done this year to put workers into camp. Nobody know who you vote for. Oh, well, I see you with a PAM, so use PAM. Don't come up here. Oh, you are Labour, come march. And if somebody from a PAM going into the march, oh, come out of the march. They have done the damage, and who do it can't fix it. Now, I recall some time ago, Dwyer and another young man was trying to form a union. You aware of that, right? Mohammed. You know what I mean, right?
No, I'm not familiar with that.
Yeah, when Unity was in, they were trying to form a union. I don't know what became of it.
Okay.
And the St. Kitts Nevis Trades and Labor Union does not support other unions. Look at how they whip apart the teachers' union. Instead of supporting the issue, whether it's their government, so they're over there. I feel sorry for St. Kitts, you know. I feel sorry for St. Kitts workers. I feel sorry. May the Lord help us. All right, then.
All right, caller, thank you for your contribution to this program. For those of you who are just tuning in, this is Voices on WINNFM 98.9. I'm your host for today, Devonne Cornelius. It is Monday, May 8th, 2023. 9 minutes past the 1 o'clock hour. We wrap up the conversation at 1:30. Again, thank you so much for joining the discussion. We are also live on our social media platforms, so you can also listen to this program via Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter at WINNMedia SKN. And of course, our website for the latest in what's happening here in St. Kitts and Nevis across the region and internationally. Visit www.winmediaskn.com. The phone lines are open and we are taking your calls at 466-0989 or 662-0989 for the USA and Canada. 718-285-6984, 305-921-4619. Let's head back to the phone lines and we'll take this call. Caller, you are on the air. Good afternoon.
Thank you for having me, my friend. I forgot your name. This is actually the first time I'm calling in on your program. But I listened to it. As I listened to the previous gentleman who spoke about the Chinese coming into the country and et cetera, et cetera. First of all, I must say, and we all know, a king does not honor in the country. Whether it's sports, business, or whatever. The problem is not foreigners coming into the country, whether it's citizen by investment or whatsoever. I think it's people never being taught, or just there are very few, how to do an investment. What the Chinese are doing, and any other foreigners, including me, okay? First of all, you got to put yourself in the mode to be a self-entrepreneur. You got to make up your mind. It takes money to make money. Thank you, people. They are only depending on what is in front of them. They are not putting in anything to turn over anything. The only hard-working people I see here try to do something is the little farmers who try to farm their food and sell it. But what is the broad spectrum of helping them be on a big scale and ricochet over to anyone who will like the opportunity? Look, the Chinese government give their citizens, wherever they go in the world, opportunities to go to other countries and invest. The government is helping anyone here to try to sustain themselves in entrepreneurship. I don't see that. Life is hard here, okay? And if it does not take investors from abroad to come here and invest, that is like quantumizing a leap of faith. The quantumize a leap of faith in St. Kitts and Nevis, the Federation. Who is helping anyone here to invest? They don't even have a microphone here. to give people a chance. There's no chance here. That's why people like me have to go abroad and bring in things to invest, do whatever we can do. We are not getting help amongst citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis. Who is helping them? That is the problem. The problem here, everyone needs a helping hand. Okay? And I think with exploratory committees and advisors to the government, okay, they should think about these things to help the people to invest. If you want to keep out investors, and we locally do it, whether it is in skill, whether it is in whatever shape or form that is profitable and sustainable, you got to start from somewhere. And if you can't get a start, how you are going to start? One hand cannot clap. It takes two. It takes two to tango. But what is polluting the place is politics. Politics. If you're not for me, you left for dead. Not survive. So either or either. People got to wake up and look into yourself. Does politics feed my belly? Does politics pay my bills? Does politics support my children to go to school? No, not at all. I am here on the ground right now, and I've seen how hard people are going through. Thank God for America to me, because America helped me. Okay, that's why I was able to go and come. Okay, I quantumized my leap of faith. Okay, people got to quantumize the leap of faith. But if you need help, let the government give you help if you need a start. Take one step to make 1,000,000 miles. Okay, and people, there are no compassion and there are no empathy here. Okay, so people, it's not just about you. Your government needs to help you. Okay? And when government officials who are appointed to help the people, they take work personally, they pick out who to help. They are selfish. Okay? They are ungrateful and too much hypocrisy. You see me? I personally, no one can shun me in any way because I am a DIY and people got to DIY. Do it yourself. Make water go uphill, even though it might seem to be impossible. That is my contribution for now, but I will try come back again with something else. Thank you for having me, sir.
And thank you, caller, for your contribution to this program. 50 minutes past the 1 o'clock hour. We'll take a break to acknowledge the sponsors for this program, and when we do come back, we'll continue the conversation right here on 98.9. Again, the numbers to call, 466-0989 or 662-0989. For the USA and Canada, that's 718-285-6984 or 305-921-4619. And if you are in the United Kingdom, call us at 033-344-0065. We'll take this break and we'll be right back.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
Supermarket shoppers understand that convenience matters. At Hortsport's Value Mart IGA, we know that price matters most. Ample parking and the widest variety matter. At Hortsport's Value Mart IGA, we know that price matters most. Clean, spacious aisles and the highest level of customer service all matter. At Hortsport's Value Mart IGA, price matters most. We've renewed our commitment to guarantee the lowest prices in the Federation. Why? Because we understand that in this tough economic environment, price matters most. Shop smart. Shop Value Mart, where price matters most. Farms Estate Nevis and Wellington Road, St. Kitts.
Price matters most.
Welcome back. Let's head back to the phone lines and we'll take this call. Hello, caller. You're on the air. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
And how are you doing?
Oh, I'm not doing too bad for my age. Carl Brown here. And good afternoon to the listeners home and abroad. So, I want to talk on two topics. One, upon St. Kitts Nevis becoming a republic.
Wait, caller, before you proceed, I'm getting some feedback. Are you near a radio or something?
Oh, wait, let me somebody vehicle park up. Yes. Yes.
Okay, go ahead. Mm-hmm.
So, I am still echoing the call for St. Kitts Nevis to done with the monarchy. And we make provision and preparation for discussions, town hall meetings, talk shows, have experts from throughout the Caribbean, Barbados. We know Jamaica now will be having the referendum to leave the monarchy in 2025. And I think we should start making the preparation now and having the discussions. And if our constitution say a referendum, we go into the referendum in 2025 and leave the monarchy. We are not benefiting nothing under the rule of the monarchy. We want to have our own way and to have our own customs and to swear to our people and our federation. The other discomfort is this housing solution that the government is going into and bringing in this Trinidad company and telling us this Trinidad company can bring the finance and bring expertise. Rubbish and nonsense. We are not settling for that. We have the expertise here, we have the knowledge, and we have the contractors, we have everything here. Now, the thing is, a little history, so the housing project of Buckley's in Fronterams, that was put on many years ago under a Labour government, and it was a Trinidad company. That company, whether run with the money or went bankrupt, and the government and the taxpayers had to take up that housing project and finish it for those people to get the houses. Those people have done make hundreds and thousands of dollars down payment, and the taxpayers and the government had to take up that. The housing project up Monkey Hill by the ATM machine, that again was under a Labour government. The government and the taxpayers had to take up that project again and finish it for the people to get the houses. Under PAM NRP government, we all remember the wire houses there, right? And how that went. And it didn't went down good. We know of another housing solution that was coming, I think, was a Trinidad company again. The government again and the taxpayers had to bail us out and get those houses for us to run. And now we're going back to Trinidad company again to come here with another housing solution. Again, no, we say no. We have the expertise, we have the knowledge, we have the contractors, we have the workers, and we say go the way that we have been doing it. We have the banks them here that would lend the money, and we have the workers, we have the knowledge and everything. We are accustomed to do these housing projects and these housing solutions. And the contractors association should not sit by. Don't care what side you support or what side you give support to and finance to, and must not let this happen, because we have been getting ripped over the years from these foreign companies. Most of them is Trinidad companies coming in here, and they finished the project, the housing solution. The taxpayers and the government have to take up and pay for many years to complete this housing solution under these foreign companies. We say no, and we're not going to sit by and let it happen. Again, so.
All right, caller. Thank you. Thank you so much for your contribution to this program. This is Voices here on WinFM 98.9. And we are taking your calls at 466-0989 or at 662-0989. We're also live on all social media platforms and at www.winmediaskin.com. We do have some more callers, so we're going to head back to the phone lines and we will take this call. Hello, caller. You are on the air. Good afternoon.
And good afternoon to you. It's a lovely day.
It is, absolutely.
And even if it were raining, it would still be a lovely day. I don't have much to say except, for the last caller, let me say something. When you talk about you said no to what is referred to as the foreign expertise and the monies to finance the housing project and whatever. You said that you all said no. But aren't you really beating a dead horse? And what I mean by that is, by all accounts, it seems like the agreement has already, or the terms of the agreement, or whatever else, I guess all of that has already been signed off too. Wouldn't you say?
I'm following you.
Whatever agreement there is, it seems like the parties have already signed off to it. So, where the citizens are concerned, what they think about it, how they think about it, it makes no difference. Right? Nothing was said beforehand. So, if you say no, I would like to know how citizens intend to ensure that they know to what supposedly should happen will come to fruition. The next thing, Mr. Moderator, I'm going to take a liberty with you, but I hope that you will be in a position to grant me this request. It's a long time I haven't heard the voice of Mr. Snideman Warner when it comes to discussing all things economic or whatever pertains to the economy. I am taking the liberty with you to ask you if you could extend an invitation to him for some time in the future, not too distant future, I hope, where he can come in and he can appraise us with some of the things we need to know about what is happening in the economy. You know, post-COVID, how it's affecting us, the cost of inflation, you know, whether there might be an increase in minimum wage, whether it will most likely come about, and how an increase will affect the overall behavior of, you know, employers, etc. BRICS, BRICS, what he thinks about that, what's his projection, and what advantages or disadvantages or whatever else it could have for us here in whether the OECS, CARICOM, or whether we here locally, you know. And, you know, generally, I guess there's a lot to be considered right now and how it is really affecting us in our pocket. You know, even if we have to look at some of these projects that's coming on board, I mean, if he cares to, if he takes up the offer, if he cares to talk about it, the prison, how that is playing out, how it's going to affect us. I mean, the CVI, especially in light of the CVI, and I can go on. But I really would like to hear him expound a bit on these matters. I haven't heard of him for a long time. And if and when you do extend the invitation, just let us know ahead of time so I can prepare myself. So when he is on, I will see if it is, okay, make myself available to hear him. If not directly, I do what I have to do so I can listen to him at a later date. You'll take that offer, Mr. Moderator?
Yes, I'll definitely extend the invitation.
Yes, yes. I really would like to hear him. It's about time. For quite a while now I haven't heard him. And thank you in advance.
All right.
Have a blessed day.
You too. And thank you so much for your contribution to this program. It is 1:28 here in the studios of WINNFM 98.9. Let me use this opportunity to say thank you so much for your contribution and calls to this program. This has been another edition of Voices on WINNFM 98.9 for Monday, May 8, 2023. And I have been your host for today, Devonne Cornelius. Thank you guys again so much for joining the conversation. Until next time, you guys stay safe, enjoy the rest of your day, enjoy the rest of the week, and you take care. Bye-bye.
We're different. We're 98.9.